Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
I was so excited about this next story. I was reading and trying to not pay attention, but I suppose I should pay attention, Eric. I'll do that from now on. I absolutely promise.
I think that would be wise.
I know. I remember telling you about all these startup combos that were coming up and different companies that were sleeping with each other. Strange bedfellows, I called it. Everybody was jumping on bed with everybody else. Well, here's one. Electric Last Mile, that's an electric vehicle startup company, said it's under investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission just weeks after both its chairman and CEO resigned following an internal probe of improper stock purchases. Oh boy. The EV startup, electric vehicle startup, learned of the investigation by the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, Division of Enforcement on March 7th. That's just last week. According to the regulatory filing this last Friday. The company also said is withdrawing previous guidance and will need to raise cash to get vehicles to market. They're talking a big cash crunch now. This is their big problem. The disclosures made a long fall for the company, which bought a former Hummer factory and outlined plans to sell delivery vehicles to the likes of FedEx Corp. Not going to happen, not now. James Taylor, its former CEO, and executive chairman Jason Lowe resigned last month after an internal probe discovered improper stock purchases or share purchases before the company announced plans to go public. Now that's called insider trading, Eric. That's what that is, and it's against the law.
Oh yeah. It's
also its auditor also resigned about the same time. No, on March 4th, the company said it is cutting 24% of its headcount, which means 24% of its white-collar workers are going bye-bye. Not good. Okay, the war in Ukraine. This is not going to go away for a while, and it's going to. I'm so tired of this. Different things that are going to affect my car business, my beloved car business. In Berlin, Volkswagen Group and BMW are among automakers scrambling to find out alternative sources of vital parts made in the Ukraine from as far afield as China and Mexico, as Russia's invasion halts assembly lines and breaks complex supply chains. It's a real true thing. As a result, VW and rival BMW have cut output and temporarily closed some assembly lines, while Mercedes-Benz has warned its production will be affected soon. This whole thing is getting crazy. But on a good note, VW Group has tried to adjust for lost wire harnesses output by boosting production of wire harnesses in Romania. Isn't that where they have, no, that's Transylvania, Hungary, Tunisia, and Morocco. Ooh, cool countries. As well as in Mexico and China. Well, anybody can do that in Mexico and China. Audi CEO Markus Duesmann, wow, that's quite a name, said the group has lost a substantial amount of wire harness production in Ukraine that was needed to keep assembly plants running. But amazingly, not all of it. Many of our suppliers, especially for wire harnesses, were in the Ukraine or are in Ukraine, and they are desperately, even with these people staying there, which is incredible, trying to reproduce and doing so always close to a bomb shelter. Jesus. Duesman said stoically, they try to produce, which is an enormous achievement for a really proud and brave people there.
Interesting.
Well, here's this whole, and the whole thing, Eric, and this is going to be my question coming up, but I'm not going to tip my hand yet. We're going to talk about it in the last section, the last segment. The Ukraine war, also chip shortage. There's an S&P Global Mobility, that's a big company, formerly known as IHS Markit, M-A-R-K-I-T, lowered its 2022 and 2023 estimates each by 2.6 million vehicles. The forecaster now expects auto companies to make 81.6 million cars worldwide this year and 88.5 million next year. How do you make a half a car? The downside risk is enormous. Mark Fulthrope, S&P Global Mobility's Executive Director for Global Production Forecasting, said in a statement Wednesday. In the firm's worst-case scenario, production would be as much as 4 million vehicles below its earlier projections for each year. But guess what? Don't look for that to happen. I got more to tell you. Those people in Ukraine are building some wiring looms. They're not afraid. Ford is pushing back their dealer allocations until late May. 100,000 vehicles are lost as suppliers struggle to deliver parts. The automaker forecasts 1.66 million U.S. sales in 2022, down from 1.9 million last year. Although, didn't we have a chip shortage last year? Critical chip shortage.
Yes, we did.
And part shortage. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. All right. Although it expects its market share to rise by 13%. How's that going to happen? The company says 37 suppliers failed to provide parts as scheduled. In Las Vegas, Ford Motor Company, beset by ongoing production woes, told dealers on Saturday it was pushing back allocations and the wholesale deliveries will be lighter until the end of May, although it continues to produce vehicles and fill customer orders. Double talk. Ford dealers who attended a make meeting told Automotive News they did not expect new stock allocations until the end of May due to production cuts. Although Ford spokesman said, guy's name is Said, S-A-I-D, said Deep, that the company continues building for both retail and stock. So what's the story here? Are we going to get cars or not? Well, they keep you guessing. That's the whole idea. There's been an earthquake in Japan. Thank you. Renesas Electronics Corp., a key maker of semiconductors, for the global automotive industry, has suspended operations at 3 plants in Japan after a major earthquake hit the country's northeast, triggering a tsunami, causing blackouts and snarling transportation. So they got hit by another one of them tsunamis there, Eric. Renesas said all 3 plants, it's Naka, Takasaki, and Yonewaza factories, are near the quake zone, which was centered off the Pacific coast from the city of Sendai. Well, who cares? The 7.4 magnitude trembler rattled cities as far away as Tokyo. Now there's a town we know. When it struck shortly after 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So they are in trouble in Japan. They are in big trouble in Japan. They can't get it going. And well, more chips. Now we have a tsunami. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it yet. We're going to. Oh, trust me, we're going to. Well, you want to hear something good about the Ukraine war? There is nothing good about a war. Nothing. But in a surprising event, or a surprising twist, Russia's invasion of Ukraine will put a substantial number of additional new crossovers on the lots of United States Volkswagen dealerships in the coming months.
Really?
Yeah. Speaking Tuesday during Volkswagen Group's annual press conference, CEO Herbert Diess said the German automakers would shift more production to North America and China, at least temporarily, as a result of the war. Well, they can't get any parts over there, Eric. That's expected to mean increased output from VW brand plants in Chattanooga, Tennessee and Puebla, Mexico, as well as the Audi plant in San Jose, Chiapas, Mexico. Did I say that right? Chiapas?
Chiapas.
Very good. Otherwise, he'll yell at me. The automakers' plants in China were also expected to benefit as scarce microchips that would otherwise be destined for use in Europe are reallocated to China and North America. Europe's got a problem. A spokesman for VW Group of America confirmed that if given the opportunity to produce more vehicles for North America, that is, by reaching a greater number of scarce microchips from VW's global suppliers, the company would do so. and he said it would keep its dealers informed of upcoming changes. Well, that's I guess that's one good thing. Everybody's dealing with the chip thing their own way, or say they are. But nobody mentions prices. Nobody mentions any prices, Eric. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit bent about that. All right, well, two things we got to talk about before we go too far. I wanted to get with you people and talk about getting your car repaired and the cost going up because it's not done right. Let's just get this real quick. I had an experience the last couple of weeks. I've had it 3 times in 2 weeks. People are getting desperate and they're going to big box stores and having their codes run, and they buy parts from that big box store, and then they run around looking for me to install it, and I just won't do it. And I won't do it because that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to fix it. And if I don't fix it, now I'm a bad guy. Well, that's supposed to fix it, according to the big box store. No, that's not what it needed. Check engine light. Your check engine light is crucial. Don't forget to ever tell your mechanic it's on, and don't worry about getting a code read at a big box store and buying an O2 sensor for an oxygen sensor code when it's simply a vacuum leak. You know what I'm saying? There's just too many variables. You need to spend the money for a clear-cut diagnostic before you go out and buy that oxygen sensor, which can range from $75 to $375, depending on your car. Let's get this right down pat and let's figure this out together. You need to do the right thing for your car. These new cars are very complex, very high tech. It takes massive equipment to tech them. The actual tester for to read the codes is no bigger than this phone. But guess what? That doesn't tell you anything. The tester I use is $12,000, and it tells me what I need to know and tells me how to go further with this diagnosis. You need to think about that when you get your car fixed. Please. And I got to tell you, I was telling you at the end of the last segment about getting your car fixed and your check engine light and whatever. I just want to make one statement so you understand. When you go to that parts store and that young man reads your code, he could be the best parts man in the world. He could be the greatest parts guy ever, but he's not a technician. He doesn't know what that code means. He just sees the word O2 or oxygen sensor and says, I'll sell you a sensor. And that's what he does. He's a parts man. He's not a technician. All you can do is cross your fingers and hope that fixes it. That's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say about that. Use your head when you're getting your car fixed. Now, when your check engine light is on, that definitely means something. All right. Ford is going to combat their chip selling or their car selling chip shortage. Ford Motor Company is attempting to ease inventory constraints, plans to ship and sell partially built vehicles that are awaiting semiconductors, chips, or related components that control non-safety critical features. Executives told the dealers in a meeting Saturday, according to 3 people that were present at the meeting. The plan is a revision of an idea floated in July, which I reported to you, where Ford considered shipping partially built vehicles to dealers to sit on their lots until parts become available. Well, but you could buy the car, put your money down, but you couldn't take it with you. Now, according to the people, the partially built Ford vehicles will be both drivable and sellable. So Ford said it would send the necessary chips within 1 year for dealers to install the sold products, the people said. How are they going to guarantee they're going to sell them within 1 year with all these shortages coming up, Eric? I just don't get it. Are we, get that price up. Lyft. I don't know if you saw the price of gas lately. Lyft, that's the rideshare company. Lyft said on Wednesday, riders in the United States, except those in New York City and Nevada, which I'm sure they're talking about Vegas, because I rode a Lyft in Vegas, as a matter of fact, would have to pay an additional 55 cents for their commute as the ride-hailing company looks to cushion the impact of high gas prices on drivers. What the heck is 55 cents going to do? What if they're going 3 miles? It's more gas than that. The fuel surcharge policy kicks in starting next week. and will stay in place for at least 60 days, Lyft said, adding that the money will go directly to the drivers to pay them for their extra fuel. The move mirrors that of rival Uber, which did the same thing, which said its customers would have to pay a surcharge of either 45 cents or 55 cents on each trip. And on Tuesday, food delivery company DoorDash, and it said its U.S. delivery partners would be eligible for a 10% on gas purchases beginning March 17th. Well, I got to tell you, this whole thing bothers me, the price of gas and all that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, too. It's not the same. 928 car guys, if you ever need to weigh in on any of this. I'm going through all the stuff that's going on in this country, along with our stuff that's happening in the electric vehicle world. And what's going to happen is really cool, actually. And if you don't think that the electric vehicles are upon us, Eric, they're here. They are so much money. There is so much money being spent by different manufacturers, and so many tax breaks given to different manufacturers. Mm-hmm. It's just real. It's real, and they're here, and it's not going away. Lost you.
Mic here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are we? Am I back? Am I back on?
You're
am
back.
I good?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. See, technical difficulties.
There you go. Onboard fixing.
Either on my way to work or in the parking garage I go for work, I at least probably see close to like 20 to 25 electrical cars.
Do you really? Yeah.
Uh-huh,
See, they're here.
Do.
They're here, and it's coming. And if you say you're never going to own one, don't say that.
No, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Although I probably won't.
Big Brother is going to tell you what you're going to drive. We're going to get into that in a minute. Ford Motor Company said it will launch 7 full electric vehicles in Europe, including a battery electric version of the Puma small crossover, its best-selling passenger car in the European region. It has to be in Europe because I've never seen a Puma. Puma. I like that. The new.
I thought it was the brand.
No, that's Puma is the car. The 3 new full electric passenger cars and 4 new electric vans will be launched by 2024 and will be built in Europe, Ford said in a statement on Monday. And I think it works better over there, and I'll tell you why. With its expanded lineup, Ford expects its annual sales of electric vehicles in Europe to exceed 600,000 units by 2026. It works better over there in Europe because you can drive an hour and be in another country.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to go from France to Spain, you can be there. It's not like America where you could spend 12 hours driving from Chicago to California. No, it's more than that.
It's more than that, boss.
Yeah,
it's
Florida's
it's
12
16,
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 to 20.
Yeah, it's like 20 hours to California, where you'd have to stop. You'd probably have to allow 4 days for recharging.
Let's just put it like this. It takes you 2 hours to get from here to Champaign.
Yes.
Well, and like you said, in Europe, it takes an hour to get from...
Of course, a lot of places in Europe, they don't have any speed limits either, but it doesn't take anything to go from Germany to the Ukraine. I mean, it's right there. All those countries are right there.
They're like right there.
They're all crammed together. Mm-hmm. I can see where that would work. Electric vehicles are going to be very, very popular in Europe because the fuel is so expensive, and it has been. I don't know how much. What are they going to gouge them for charging in Europe? Oh, I got to find out. Because I found out about America, and it was a gouge, and I reported on it.